The moment you chose wealth in the silence of your mind, the moment you decided with absolute finality that millions belong to you, something profound and irrevocable happened in the unseen realms of reality. You signed the check. You did not sign it with a pen held in your physical hand, nor did you sign it upon a piece of paper that can be burned or lost or stolen. You signed it with your energy. You signed it upon the eternal fabric of reality itself. We must begin by understanding the gravity of this act, because most people live their entire lives without ever realizing that they are constantly signing checks with their consciousness. They are signing checks for poverty, they are signing checks for struggle, and they are signing checks for mediocrity, not because they want these things, but because they are unaware of the nature of the transaction. The energy you carry is not a silent passive force that simply sits inside your body. It is the ink that the universe reads. It is the language that creation understands. It is the command that the atoms of your world obey. When your inner state says, "I am wealthy now," every element of life begins to conspire to make that truth visible. The bank account, the opportunities, the people, the doors you never knew existed, they all answer to that vibration. We live in a world that is obsessed with the visible. We are taught to believe only what we can touch and see and count. We are taught that money is a physical object that must be chased down and captured through blood and sweat and tears. But I am here to tell you that this is the illusion of the senses. Money is not a physical object, it is a physical echo of an energetic state. Wealth is not a number in a bank account, it is a frequency of consciousness. Before a single dollar appears in your bank account, before a business opportunity knocks on your door, before an unexpected check arrives in the mail, there is an unseen signing ceremony taking place in the consciousness of the universe. You are the one who officiates this ceremony. You are the one who holds the pen. But the pen is your focus and the ink is your feeling. You do not sign this check with ink, you sign it with the vibration you hold. The universe does not respond to your words alone, nor does it respond to your physical effort alone. It responds to the frequency you radiate from the depth of your being. This is the great secret that the wealthy know instinctively and the poor struggle to understand. You cannot manifest wealth from a vibration of lack, just as you cannot tune into a radio station you have not dialed in. Let us go deeper into this concept of the unseen transaction. Every desire you have ever had is a potential reality, waiting to be activated. The millions you desire are not far away in the future. They are not waiting for you to become worthy. They are not waiting for the economy to improve. They are waiting for your signature. To sign the check means to appropriate the state of ownership. It means to move from the state of wanting to the state of having. When you want something, you are declaring that you do not have it. You are signing a check for absence. But when you claim something in your imagination, when you feel the weight of it, the reality of it, the naturalness of it, you are signing the check for presence. The universe reads this signature instantly. It does not judge you. It does not check your credit score. It does not look at your past failures. It simply looks at the signature of your energy. If the signature is clear and bold and confident, the funds are released. The transaction is closed. The delivery becomes inevitable. You do not need to hustle for the millions as if they are far away. This idea of hustling and grinding and fighting for your good is based on the false premise of separation. It assumes that you are here, and the money is there, and there is a vast distance between you that can only be bridged by struggle. But in the quantum field of reality, there is no distance. Everything exists here and now. The wealth you desire is already in your atmosphere. It is vibrating right where you are, but on a different frequency. To access it, you do not need to travel, you need to tune. You need to change your broadcast. When you stand in the vibration of wealth, when you breathe it, walk as it, think from it, and speak as though the transaction is complete, you are tuning into the frequency where the wealth already exists. You are making the invisible visible. This is not magic, it is mechanics. It is the physics of the soul. Think of the check as a contract between you and the infinite. When you write a check in the physical world, you are giving an instruction to the bank to release funds. The bank does not ask if you are in a good mood. It does not ask if you worked hard today. It checks two things. Are the funds available, and is the signature valid? In the kingdom of God, the funds are always available. There is no shortage in the universe. The cattle on 1,000 hills are his, and the gold and the silver are his. The supply is infinite. Therefore, the only variable is the signature. Is your signature valid? A valid signature in the spiritual realm is a state of consciousness that is free from doubt. It is a state of knowing. When you know that you are wealthy with the same certainty that you know your own name, your signature is valid. But if you say you are wealthy, but deep down you feel afraid, you feel like a fraud, you feel worried, then your signature is a forgery. The universe rejects forgeries. It cannot deliver on a confused signal. Every thought of lack, every moment of doubt is like scribbling over your own signature. Imagine writing a check for $1 million and then taking a black marker and crossing out your name. That is what you do when you worry. That is what you do when you complain about the price of things. That is what you do when you envy others. You are invalidating your own command. But every moment of certainty, every vision of abundance, every calm knowing is like re-signing that check with bold, unshakable ink. Your energy is the legal tender of the unseen. The world you see now is just a delayed reflection of the world you have already created within. And because you have already felt the millions as yours, they cannot help but find their way to you. Do not ask how they will arrive. The route is none of your concern. Do not track the delivery. It is already guaranteed. Stand still in the knowing. The wealth is already signed over to you. The transaction is closed. We must understand that this transaction is a legal act in the spiritual court. When you assume a state, you are laying claim to a portion of creation. You are standing before the tribunal of your own conscience and saying, "This is mine." If your conscience agrees, if you feel natural in that state, then the verdict is given in your favor. To him that hath it shall be given. This means to him that hath the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the physical realization shall be given. But to him that hath not even what he hath shall be taken away. This means, if you do not have the feeling of wealth, if you are operating from a poverty consciousness, even the little money you have will be drained away by the law of your own being. This is not punishment. It is the law of signatures. You get what you sign for. If you sign for poverty with your feelings of fear, you will get poverty. If you sign for wealth with your feelings of gratitude, you will get wealth. The millions are not coming someday. They are in motion now. This concept of someday is a trap. It keeps you in a perpetual state of postponement. You say, "I will be happy when," or "I will be rich when." But the law of the universe operates only in the now. The signature must be dated today. If you date the check for the future, it is invalid. You must feel wealthy now. You must feel secure now. You must feel free now. This does not mean you spend money you do not have. It means you spend the energy of abundance. You look at the world with the eyes of abundance. You appreciate the beauty around you. You acknowledge the richness of life. You stop pinching your soul. When you live in the now with the feeling of the end, you collapse time. You bring the future into the present. And when the millions arrive, it will not feel like a surprise. It will feel like recognition, because deep inside you will remember you signed the check long ago with your energy. Consider the authority required to sign a check. A beggar cannot sign a check for a king. Only the king can sign for the king. To sign the check for millions, you must step into the identity of the person who owns millions. You cannot sign it as the victim. You cannot sign it as the struggler. You must rise in your consciousness and assume the dignity of the wealthy. What does wealth feel like? It does not feel like manic excitement. It feels like power. It feels like choices. It feels like security. It feels like a deep exhale. It is a state of rest. When you have money, you don't worry about money. Therefore, to sign the check, you must stop worrying about money. You must practice the feeling of having enough, the feeling of overflow. When you carry this authority, your energy becomes magnetic. You stop chasing and you start attracting. Everything in your life begins first in the invisible realm of energy. The chair you are sitting on was once an idea. The building you are in was once a blueprint. The money you desire is currently an energy. To bring it into form, you must give it a mold. Your imagination is the mold. Your feeling is the substance that fills the mold. When you hold the mold steady and fill it with the fire of your conviction, the energy hardens into fact. It condenses. It slows down until it becomes solid matter that you can hold in your hand. This process is automatic. You do not need to make it happen, you just need to let it happen by maintaining the signature. The universe knows how to build. It knows how to orchestrate. It knows how to deliver. Your only job is to authorize the delivery. The truth is simple yet often overlooked. You cannot manifest wealth from a vibration of lack, just as you cannot tune into a radio station you have not dialed in. This analogy is perfect because it removes the morality from the equation. It is not about being a good person or a bad person. It is about being on the frequency. A radio does not judge the listener. It simply transmits the signal that corresponds to the dial. If you are a good person but your dial is set to poverty, FM, you will hear the music of poverty. If you are a person who has made mistakes but you set your dial to wealth, FM, you will hear the music of wealth. The universe is impartial. It is a mirror. It is a machine of reflection. This is good news because it means you do not have to earn your wealth through suffering. You do not have to prove your worthiness. You are already worthy because you exist. You just have to change the station. You have to change your signature. What you radiate inwardly, your dominant feeling, your steady inner tone becomes the signal that wealth recognizes. Wealth is looking for a home. It is looking for a place where it is welcome. It is not welcome in a mind that worries. It is not welcome in a heart that is tight with fear. It is welcome in a spirit that is generous and open. Like a lighthouse calling ships home, your energy sends out a clear message. Here is where abundance belongs. When you align your energy to the vibration of wealth, you have already completed the most important step in the process. The physical work you do becomes secondary. It becomes effortless. You find yourself doing the right things at the right time, not because you are forcing it, but because you are being led by the signal you are broadcasting. The lighthouse does not run around the ocean looking for ships. It stands still and shines. You must stand still in your conviction and shine the light of abundance. The physical world is only the courier. It delivers what has already been approved in the unseen. When you order a package online, you do not drive to the warehouse to get it. You trust the courier. You know it is coming. You might check the tracking number occasionally, but you do not doubt the reality of the purchase. In the spiritual world, your feeling is the purchase confirmation. The tracking number is your intuition. The courier is the bridge of incidents, the series of events that brings the desire to you. Why do you doubt the spiritual courier more than the physical one? The spiritual courier has never lost a package. It has never missed a delivery. The only reason a package doesn't arrive is because you canceled the order with your doubt. You called the customer service of the universe and said, I don't think I can afford this, or I don't think it's coming. And the universe said, order canceled. Keep the order open. Keep the signature valid. This is why some people seem to magnetize opportunities effortlessly. Because long before the opportunity came, their energy had already placed the order and secured the delivery. They walked into the room, and the deal was already done energetically. The handshake was just a formality. The contract was just paperwork. The real agreement happened in the silence of their own minds days or weeks before. You can reach this level of mastery. You can become a person who signs checks in the air, a person who commands reality with a look, a person who walks through the world with the golden touch. But it requires discipline. It requires you to be more interested in your inner world than your outer world. It requires you to value your energy more than your circumstances. If you can feel the security of having the money before it arrives, you bypass the struggle most people experience. Struggle is the symptom of misalignment. It is the friction caused by trying to move in one direction physically, while moving in the opposite direction mentally. You are trying to walk north toward wealth, but your mind is walking south toward poverty. This creates tension. This creates exhaustion. When you align your mind and your body, when you sign the check and walk in the direction of the check, the struggle disappears. You flow. You glide. You are carried by the current of your own intention. You don't live in the question of if it will happen. You rest in the certainty that it already has. This certainty is not wishful thinking. It is energetic reality. Wishful thinking is weak. It is passive. It hopes for the best, but expects the worst. Energetic reality is aggressive in a spiritual sense. It claims, it appropriates, it stands on the rock of truth. The moment you truly feel something is yours, the invisible wheels begin turning. The great machinery of the cosmos engages. Gears that are bigger than galaxies begin to rotate to bring your little desire to pass. Because to the universe there is no big or small. Creating a penny is the same effort as creating $1 billion. It is all just energy rearrangement. The limit is not in the supply, the limit is in the signature. Can you sign for $1 billion? Do you have the internal capacity to hold that much voltage? Or will your hand shake? Expand your capacity, expand your signature. Most people wait to feel wealthy until after the money shows up. This is like a gardener waiting for plants to grow before planting the seeds. It is a violation of the law of cause and effect. The feeling is the cause, the money is the effect. You cannot have the effect before the cause. You must be the cause. You must be the generator. When you wait for the world to make you happy, you are a slave. When you make yourself happy and let the world reflect it, you are a master. The energy of wealth is a specific frequency. It is a frequency of appreciation. It is a frequency of freedom. You can practice this frequency right now without a dime in your pocket. You can appreciate the air you breathe. You can appreciate the sun on your face. You can feel the freedom of your own mind. As you practice these feelings, you are tuning the instrument. You are preparing the signature. And soon, the heavy bass notes of financial wealth will begin to play in your symphony. Your energy is not a passive state. It is an active signature that writes itself across the field of potential. The field is like a giant sensitive screen. It records every touch. Every emotion leaves a fingerprint. Every belief leaves a mark. And the field always returns what is signed upon it. It does not discriminate. It does not filter. It just reflects. If you look at your life and you do not like what you see, do not break the mirror. Change the signature. Change the input. Stop signing for drama. Stop signing for pain. Start signing for peace. Start signing for joy. Start signing for the millions that are your birthright. The pen is in your hand. The checkbook of the infinite is open before you. The date is today. The pay is you. The amount is unlimited. What will you write? The unseen transaction is the most real thing in your life. The visible world is just the receipt. Do not hoard the receipts and forget the transaction. Focus on the business of the soul. Do business in great waters. Sign the big checks in your imagination. Dare to believe that you are worth it. Dare to believe that God wants to give you the kingdom. It is His good pleasure. It is your destiny. But it waits for your hand. It waits for your energy. It waits for your signature. Sign it now. Sign it with conviction. Sign it with love. And watch the windows of heaven open and pour out a blessing that there is not room enough to receive. This is the truth of the unseen transaction. This is the beginning of your new life. Let us look closely at the nature of this signature and the substance with which you write the decrees of your destiny. If energy is the ink, then feeling is the pen. But we must go much deeper than these simple metaphors to understand the physics of creation. The ink of the soul is not a static fluid. It is a living, vibrating substance that we call consciousness. It is the very essence of God within you. When we speak of signing the check, we are speaking of the act of impressing your subconscious mind with a definite, specific vibration. You have signed the check energetically before a single figure appears on the page of your physical reality. This concept is the dividing line between the sleeper and the awakened. The sleeper believes the physical world is the cause and his feelings are the effect. He waits for a check to arrive in the mail so that he can feel the ink of joy. He waits for a lover to appear so that he can feel the ink of love. He waits for the doctor to give him a clean bill of health so that he can feel the ink of vitality. He is living his life in reverse. He is holding the pen, but he refuses to write until the paper writes on itself. This is madness. This is spiritual abdication. You must understand that the physical world has no creative power of its own. It is a screen, it is a mirror, it is a courier. The physical world is only the courier. It delivers what has already been approved in the unseen. The courier does not decide what to bring you. The courier does not judge whether you deserve the package. The courier simply looks at the order form that you filled out in the silence of your mind and executes the delivery. This is why some people seem to magnetize opportunities effortlessly, because long before the opportunity came, their energy had already placed the order and secured the delivery. They did not wait for the external confirmation, they confirmed it themselves. They dipped their pen into the ink of the soul, and they wrote, "I am wealthy," with such conviction that the universe had no choice but to honor the check. If you can feel the security of having the money before it arrives, you bypass the struggle most people experience. You don't live in the anxious question of if it will happen, because the question implies that the transaction is not yet complete. You rest in the certainty that it already has happened in the only place that matters, which is the causal realm of your imagination. This certainty is not wishful thinking. Wishful thinking is a weak, diluted ink that fades before it can be read. Certainty is a bold, permanent ink that burns itself into the fabric of time. The moment you truly feel something is yours, the invisible wheels of creation begin turning. We must define what we mean by truly feel. We are not talking about a fleeting emotion. We are not talking about a burst of excitement that lasts for 5 minutes and then is followed by hours of depression. That is not a signature, that is a scribble. A signature is consistent. A signature is an identity. To truly feel wealth means to appropriate the state of wealth as your natural dwelling place. It means you walk down the street and your body feels different. Your spine is straighter. Your breathing is deeper. There is a relaxation in your muscles that comes from knowing you are safe. This somatic reality is the signature. When you hold this state, circumstances are rearranged, people are moved into place, and channels of delivery open that you could never have logically designed with your conscious mind. The universe is a master chess player. It sees moves that you cannot see. It knows the shortest distance between your current state and your desired reality. But it cannot move the pieces until you sign the authorization form. But here lies the challenge that separates the master from the student. Most people wait to feel wealthy until after the money shows up. This is backwards. This is the great illusion of the senses. This is like a gardener waiting for the flowers to bloom before he plants the seeds. He stands over the empty earth and screams, "Show me the flowers and then I will plant the seed." The earth remains barren and the gardener starves. Energy precedes manifestation always. There is no exception to this law. It is as fundamental as gravity. You must feel first, then see. You must embody the outcome before the evidence can reflect it back to you. This is not mere positive thinking. Positive thinking is often a bandage put over a deep wound of disbelief. We are talking about the law of resonance. We are talking about tuning your instrument. Your energy is not a passive state. It is an active signature that writes itself across the field of potential. The quantum field is listening to you right now. It is not listening to your words, it is listening to your ink. What is the quality of your ink today? Is it the ink of frustration? Is it the ink of desperation? Or is it the golden ink of gratitude? The field always returns exactly what is signed upon it. It is a faithful duplicator. If you feel lack, you are energetically signing a check for more lack. You are telling the courier, "Bring me more situations where I feel not enough." And the courier, being a faithful servant, delivers exactly that. If you feel worry, you are signing a check for more delay. You are telling the universe, "I trust in disaster more than I trust in deliverance." And the universe honors your faith in disaster. But if you feel overflow, if you feel gratitude, if you feel the quiet dignity of wealth, you are signing a check for abundance. You are engaging the machinery of joy. There is no delay in this energetic transaction. The moment you feel it, the signature is accepted. The only delay is in the physical unfolding, which is simply the time required for the dense machinery of reality to catch up with your lightning-fast vibration. Do not mistake the delay of the reflection for the denial of the desire. The reflection takes time because matter is heavy. Spirit is light. The spirit moves instantly. Matter moves sluggishly. Have patience with the mirror, but have absolute confidence in the image you are projecting. So how do you sign this check in the way that brings wealth to your door? You begin now. You do not wait for the perfect conditions. You do not wait for the lucky break. You do not wait for the validation of others. You begin now by holding the feeling of the desired outcome as though it were already here. This requires a withdrawal of your attention from the evidence of the senses. Your senses are reporting the past. They are telling you what you signed for yesterday and last year. If your bank account is empty, that is a report of your past signature. It is not a prediction of your future. Unless you sign the same check again today, you must have the audacity to look at the empty account and feel the fullness of wealth. This is what the mystics call dying to the old self. You die to the evidence of the senses so that you can live to the evidence of the imagination. You move through your day with the composure of one who has already received. You speak as though the deal is done, because in truth it is. When doubt tries to creep in, you don't fight it with logic. Logic is a trap. Logic is based on the visible world, and the visible world is based on the past. If you argue with doubt using logic, you will lose, because the facts are on the side of doubt. But the truth is on the side of imagination. So you simply return to the feeling. You treat the doubt like a cloud passing over the sun. You do not try to fight the cloud, you just wait for it to pass and keep your face turned toward the light. You remind yourself, I am not waiting for wealth. I am allowing wealth to catch up to the energy I already hold. The check is signed. The energy is sealed. The only thing left is for the delivery to arrive. This mantra allows you to detach from the anxiety of the how and the when. The how is the domain of the universe. The what is the domain of your signature. And when it does arrive, you will not be surprised. You will simply nod in quiet recognition, knowing it could not have been otherwise. This sense of naturalness is the hallmark of a true signature. If you imagine yourself winning the lottery and you feel shocked and hysterical in your imagination, you are signing a check for unlikely. You are telling the subconscious that this is a miracle that probably won't happen. But if you imagine wealth and it feels normal, if it feels like something that belongs to you, then you are signing a check for inevitable. You want to reach the state where wealth feels as natural to you as your own skin. Before a check is honored in the physical world, it must first carry the correct signature. In the realm of manifestation, the signature is not written with your hand. It is impressed with your feeling. The universe, like a banker, will not release the funds until the signature matches the account. Let us explore the concept of the account. Your account is your inner state. It is the sum total of your beliefs, your moods, and your assumptions. If your account is filled with beliefs of unworthiness, you cannot sign a check for millions. The banker will say, insufficient funds. Not because there is no money in the universe, but because there is no equivalent value in your consciousness. You must deposit value into your inner account daily. You deposit value by claiming your divinity. You deposit value by practicing self-love. You deposit value by revising your day and pruning the negative thoughts. As you build up your inner sense of worthiness, your signature gains power. You stop signing with a trembling hand and you start signing with a flourish. The feeling of already having the millions is your invisible signature on the check. It is the authentic proof of ownership that reality requires before it can deliver. Consider the ink itself. The ink is your life force. Where are you spending your ink? Are you spending it on arguments? Are you spending it on resentments? Are you spending it on worrying about the news? Every time you engage in these low vibration activities, you are wasting your ink. You are writing scripts for horror movies instead of writing the script for your success. You must become a miser with your energy. You must conserve your ink for the things that matter. When you sit in the silence and focus on your desire, you are concentrating the ink. You are making it potent. A concentrated laser beam can cut through steel. A diffuse light bulb can only illuminate a room. Your signature needs to be a laser beam, focused, intense, clear. There is a specific feeling we must discuss, which is the feeling of it is done. This is the moment the ink dries. When you write a check, you don't keep writing over it again and again. You sign it once and you hand it over. In the creative process, there comes a moment of saturation where you feel you have done the work. You feel a sense of relief. You feel that the seed has been planted. This is the Sabbath. This is the rest. If you are constantly anxious, constantly redoing your affirmations, constantly checking for results, you have not really signed the check. You are still holding the pen. You are afraid to let go. But you must let go to let God. You must release the energy so it can go out and do its work. The feeling of relief is the surest sign that the signature is valid. We must also address the issue of forgery. A forgery in the spiritual world is when you try to fake the feeling. You put on a happy face for the world, but inside you are dying of fear. You say the affirmations, but your stomach is in knots. The universe detects forgeries instantly. You cannot fool the law of vibration. It reads your vibration, not your lips. To avoid forgery, you must be honest with yourself. If you feel fear, acknowledge it, but do not identify with it. Transform it. Use the alchemical power of your focus to transmute the lead of fear into the gold of faith. Go deeper into meditation until the fear dissolves. Do not sign the check until your hand is steady. It is better to spend 10 minutes getting into a true state of peace than to spend 10 hours faking it. The authentic proof of ownership is not a deed to a house or a title to a car. Those are just papers. Papers can burn. Papers can be stolen. The authentic proof is the consciousness of possession. If you had the consciousness of wealth, you could lose all your money today and you would make it all back tomorrow, because the signature is within you. But if you have the money without the consciousness, you will lose the money and be unable to get it back. This is why we focus on the ink of the soul and not the paper of the world. The paper is temporary. The ink is eternal. You are learning to be a creator, not just a receiver. You are learning to generate the wealth from the inside out. Let us look at the courier again. The physical world is slow and heavy. It takes time to move mountains. When you sign the check, do not stand at the window watching for the courier every 5 minutes. This creates resistance. This creates the energy of the side it's not here yet. And that energy cancels the signature. Trust the courier. Trust the bridge of incidents. The universe has ways of delivering money that you cannot imagine. It can come through a serendipitous meeting. It can come through an idea that wakes you up in the middle of the night. It can come through a sudden shift in the market. Do not dictate the route. Do not tell the courier which road to take. Just keep the porch light on. The porch light is your expectancy. Live in a state of happy expectation. Not desperate need, but happy expectation. Like a child waiting for Christmas morning. The ink of the soul is limitless. You can sign as many checks as you want. You can sign for health. You can sign for love. You can sign for wisdom. You do not have to choose between them. The bank of the infinite has no limits. You are the only one who sets the limit. You limit yourself by your beliefs. You limit yourself by thinking, I can't have it all. Why not? Who told you that? Tear up that belief. Dip your pen into the infinite inkwell of the cosmos and write a new decree. I am wealthy. I am healthy. I am loved. I am free. Sign it with your life force. Sign it with your joy. This practice requires a daily maintenance of the signature. We live in a world that is constantly trying to smudge your signature. The news tells you the economy is bad. Your friends tell you to be realistic. Your senses tell you you are broke. These are attempts to smudge your ink. You must protect your signature. You must refresh it every day. In the morning before you get out of bed, re-sign the check. Feel the wish fulfilled. Set the tone for the day. In the evening before you go to sleep, re-sign the check. Fall asleep in the feeling of the end. By doing this, you keep the ink fresh. You keep the command clear. You ensure that the courier knows exactly where to find you. There is a mystery to the ink. It is magnetic. When you sign the check with the ink of love, you attract love. When you sign with the ink of wealth, you attract wealth. Like attracts like. This is the law of attraction, but deeper. It is the law of identity. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. And the ink defines what you are. When you sign I am wealthy, you are defining your being. You are vibrating at the frequency of gold. And gold must come to gold. It is physics. Do not doubt the physics. Do not doubt the law. The law works for everyone who uses it correctly. It works for the sinner and the saint. It works for the king and the peasant. It only cares about the signature. So I ask you today, what are you writing? What is the story you are telling yourself? Every internal conversation is a stroke of the pen. Every mood is a shade of the ink. Become a master calligrapher of your own destiny. Write beautiful things. Write grand things. Do not scribble in the margins of life. Write across the center of the page in bold letters. The universe is waiting for your command. The checkbook is open. The funds are there. The courier is ready. All that is missing is you. All that is missing is your ink. Pick up the pen of feeling, dip it into the ink of your soul, and sign. Sign for the life you deserve. Sign for the abundance that is your birthright. Do it now. Do it with feeling, and know that it is done. This brings us to the art of receiving before arrival, which is the secret of the ages and the stumbling block for the unawakened. Receiving is not a physical act of taking something in your hands. It is a psychological act of accepting a truth in your heart. We must dismantle the common definition of receiving, because the world has taught you that you receive only when an object is placed in your possession. This is false. In the economy of the spirit, you receive the moment you accept the reality of your desire. You must embody the outcome before the evidence can reflect it back to you. Most people live their lives in a state of energetic rejection. They claim they want wealth, but they walk around with the posture of poverty. They claim they want love, but they barricade their hearts with the anticipation of rejection. They reject their wealth by feeling poor. They reject their health by feeling sick. To receive, you must open the doors of your consciousness and invite the reality in before it knocks on your physical door. You do this by living in the end. Receiving before arrival means you do not postpone your joy. You do not postpone your relief. You feel the relief of financial freedom right now, even while the bills are staring at you on the table. You walk with the stride of a wealthy person, even while you are walking to the bus stop. You eat your food with the gratitude of a king, even if it is a simple meal. By doing this, you are telling the universe that you have already received. And because the universe is a mirror, it must reflect that receipt by bringing the physical evidence to you. We must look deeply at the concept of making room. If you are waiting for a guest to arrive at your home, you do not wait until they ring the doorbell to clean the house. You prepare the room beforehand. You put fresh sheets on the bed. You set the table. You buy the food. You create a vacuum that can only be filled by the guest. This preparation is an act of faith and an act of receiving. You are acting on the assumption that the guest is coming. Now apply this to money. If you want millions, but your mind is cluttered with worries about debt and your emotional home is filled with the dust of despair, there is no room for the wealth to enter. You must prepare the mental room. You must organize your mind as if the money were already there. How would you organize your day if you were wealthy? How would you treat your neighbors? How would you treat yourself? You would likely be more generous, more relaxed, more open. Start being those things now. When you act from the premise of fulfillment, you create a suction in the universe. You create a space that the law of life must fill. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you create a wealth vacuum by acting wealthy in your spirit, the liquid gold of abundance must rush in to fill it. Think about how you behave when something is truly yours. If you have bought a piece of furniture that is being delivered next week, you don't spend the next 7 days worrying whether it will arrive. You don't call the store every hour to ask if they still have it. You make space for it in your home. You move the old chair out. You measure the corner. You tell your friends, I bought a new sofa. Note the tense you use. You say, I bought it. Past tense. It is done. You do not say, I hope I get a sofa. The certainty of your ownership allows you to relax. You have already paid for it. It is yours. The same applies to your millions. The payment is your energy. And once it is given, you can rest. This is the psychological state we are aiming for. It is the state of, it is settled. When you reach this state, you stop striving. You stop looking for signs. You stop questioning. You simply wait with a happy expectancy. This state of happy expectancy is the most magnetic frequency in the human experience. It draws the future into the present with a force that defies logic. When you live as though the millions are already here, your choices change naturally. You don't postpone joy, rest, or generosity until some future date. You embody them now. Many people say, I will be generous when I have money. This is the trap. You must be generous to have money, because generosity is the consciousness of abundance. If you hoard your love, if you hoard your compliments, if you hoard your small change, you are telling the universe, I am afraid of running out. And the universe says, so be it. But if you give freely of what you have, whether it is money or time or kindness, you are telling the universe, I am a source, I am overflowing, and the universe says, so be it. You don't grasp at opportunities out of fear. The person who knows their wealth is coming does not chase every get-rich-quick scheme. They are calm. They are discerning. They know that what belongs to them cannot pass them by. They select opportunities from a place of power, not a place of panic. You speak about your future as though it is a continuation of your present wealth, because in truth it is. The mind may try to protest. It is the job of the logical mind to protect you from disappointment. So it will say, but I don't see it yet. How can I act like it is here? It will scream, look at your bank balance. Look at the overdue notices. That is when you must be the master and not the servant. You remind yourself that outer appearances are delayed reflections. Imagine you are standing in a canyon and you shout, I am wealthy. It takes a few seconds for the echo to come back. If in those few seconds you say, where is the echo? It's not working. I am poor. Then the echo will return as I am poor. You must trust the lag time. The mirror always takes a moment to show the new pose. If you wait to see the reflection before you change your stance, you will be locked in the same reality forever. You must be the leader. You must hold the pose. You must hold the smile while looking at a blank mirror, knowing that the reflection is racing to catch up with you. Receiving before arrival requires trust. Trust in the process, trust in the laws that govern creation, and trust in your own power to claim and hold the state you desire. You must become emotionally fluent in the experience of already having it. What does this mean? It means you must know what wealth feels like in your body. Does it feel like a tightness in the chest? No, that is anxiety. Does it feel like a rush of adrenaline? No, that is excitement. And excitement implies uncertainty. Wealth feels like a loosening of the shoulders. It feels like a deep, full breath. It feels like the ground is solid beneath your feet. It feels like security. It feels like options. Walk into a room and imagine the weight of that financial freedom in your being. Imagine you have a black American Express card in your pocket that has no limit. How does that change the way you walk? You don't strut with arrogance, but you walk with a quiet confidence. You are not intimidated by the prices on the menu. You are not intimidated by the authority figures in the room. You are equal. You are safe. Make decisions as someone who already holds the millions. Breathe with the ease of one who is financially untouchable. This is not about reckless spending or careless living. I am not telling you to go out and spend money you do not have on credit cards. That is acting from delusion, not acting from abundance. Acting from abundance is a mental and emotional posture. It is about how you feel about the money you do spend. When you pay a bill, do you pay it with resentment? There goes my money. That is poverty consciousness. Or do you pay it with gratitude? Thank you for the electricity. I have the ability to pay this. That is wealth consciousness. If the millions were truly in your account today, what worries would dissolve? Identify those worries specifically. Would you worry about rent? No. Would you worry about the car breaking down? No. So start living from that release right now. Mentally drop the worry. Say to yourself, I have the money. It is done. Even if the physical cash isn't there, the relief of dropping the worry releases the energy block that is keeping the cash away. That is how you receive before arrival. You receive the peace first. You receive the security first. You receive the dignity first. And then the symbols of those feelings, which we call money, follow. And here is the beauty. When you consistently live this way, the arrival becomes inevitable. You are no longer signaling to life that you are waiting. Waiting is the most destructive thing you can do. Waiting says, I am here and it is there. It affirms separation. Signaling having says, I am here and it is here. It affirms unity. The universe does not argue with that vibration. It aligns with it. It has no choice. It is a mechanical law. If you plant a seed of corn, the earth does not argue and try to grow a tomato. It grows corn. If you plant the seed of I have received, the universe grows the condition of having. The longer you hold the state of having, the more solid it becomes. At first it may feel like an act. You might feel like an imposter. You might feel silly. This is normal. You are breaking an addiction to struggle. You are breaking the habit of being poor. Keep going. Persist. Soon it becomes a habit. You will wake up in the morning and your first thought will not be I'm broke, it will be life is good. Finally, it turns into your truth. It becomes your default setting. And when something becomes your truth internally, the outer world bends itself to deliver the matching evidence. The arrival of your millions will not come as a shock. It will not be a jarring event that destabilizes you, because you have already acclimated to the altitude of wealth. We must speak of the feeling of naturalness. Neville Goddard taught that a desire will not manifest until it feels natural. If wealth feels like a miracle, it will stay a miracle, something rare and distant. If wealth feels natural, it will become your daily bread. How do you make millions feel natural? By wearing the feeling of it daily in your imagination. You mentally shop in the stores you want to shop in. You mentally live in the house you want to live in. You mentally drive the car. You do this until the shock value wears off. You do this until you can look at $1 million in your mind and not faint. You want to reach the point where wealth is boring. Yes, boring. Because when something is boring, it means you are completely used to it. It is yours. You receive before arrival by normalizing the extraordinary. There is a profound relationship between gratitude and receiving. Gratitude is the ultimate signature of receiving. You usually say thank you after someone gives you a gift. Therefore, saying thank you is the proof that you have received. If you want to trick your subconscious mind into believing you have already received the money, start saying thank you constantly. Thank you for this abundance. Thank you for my financial freedom. Thank you for the millions. Say it until you have tears of gratitude in your eyes. This is not gratitude for what is coming, it is gratitude for what is here in the unseen. This vibration of thankfulness is the most powerful receiver in the universe. It pulls the manifestation through the barrier of time. Jesus stood before the tomb of Lazarus and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me before Lazarus came out. He received the answer before the evidence. You must do the same. Receiving before arrival also means you stop looking for validation. The poor man looks for validation that he is rich. He buys flashy clothes to prove to others he has money. The rich man does not need to prove anything. He knows what he has. When you have truly received the wealth in your spirit, you lose the need to show off. You lose the need to convince others. You have a quiet inner satisfaction. You are like a woman who is pregnant. She knows there is a baby inside. She doesn't need to explain it to everyone. She just glows. She smiles, a secret smile. You must carry your wealth like a secret pregnancy. Nurture it, know it is there. Don't dig it up to prove it exists. Just let it grow. This quiet confidence is incredibly powerful. It commands respect from the elements of the world. Let us address the voice of the world. The world will tell you to be realistic. The world will tell you to face the facts. But to the awakened soul, facts are just crystallized thoughts of the past. If you face the facts, you are facing backward. You want to face the truth. The truth is what you are creating in your imagination. Receiving before arrival requires a certain kind of deafness. You must be deaf to the naysayers. You must be deaf to the economic forecasts of doom. You must be deaf to your own inner critic. You are listening to a different station. You are listening to the sound of your own success. You are listening to the compliments of your friends, congratulating you on your wealth. You are listening to the sound of the ocean from the balcony of your dream home. Keep your inner ears tuned to that frequency and ignore the static of the world. There is a concept called occupying the state. To receive before arrival, you must occupy the state of wealth. You cannot just visit it like a tourist. A tourist visits a country, looks around, takes some photos, and goes back home. You must move in. You must apply for citizenship in the kingdom of wealth. You must learn the language, which is confidence. You must learn the customs, which are relaxation and generosity. You must make it your residence. When you occupy the state, you do not react to poverty. If you see a bill, You don't react as a poor person. You react as a rich person who is temporarily inconvenienced. The reaction is different. The poor person says, "This is a disaster." The rich person says, "This is a detail. Occupy the state until you are the state." When you live this way, the money begins to find you. It has to. You have become a magnet. A magnet does not work hard to attract iron. It just is magnetic. By your nature, you draw things to you. The struggle disappears. You are no longer pushing a boulder up a hill. You are standing at the bottom of the hill and the boulder is rolling towards you. Your only job is to be ready to catch it. Being ready means having the systems in place to handle the wealth. It means having the mindset to keep the wealth. Receiving before arrival includes preparing yourself to be a custodian of millions. If you received millions today, would you know what to do with it? Or would you lose it? Prepare your mind, educate yourself, act like the manager of the fortune you are summoning. This is active receiving. This practice changes your relationship with time. In the linear world, there is a long line between desire and manifestation. In the quantum world, the line is a circle. The end is the beginning. When you receive before arrival, you step out of linear time and into vertical time. You are connecting the now of desire with the now of fulfillment. You are collapsing the timeline. The more intense your feeling of having, the shorter the time interval. If you can reach a state of absolute conviction right now, the manifestation can happen in the twinkling of an eye. The delay is only caused by your wavering. The delay is caused by you stepping in and out of the state. 1 minute you are rich, the next minute you are worried. This mixed signal stops the delivery. Stay in the state. Be consistent. Finally, remember that receiving is an act of love. You are loving yourself enough to give yourself the best. You are loving God enough to trust His promises. You are loving the world enough to become a resource for others. Poverty serves no one. Your suffering does not help the world. Your abundance helps the world. By receiving before arrival, you are breaking the chain of lack for your family and your community. You are becoming a pioneer of possibility. You are showing others that they are not victims of circumstance, but creators of reality. So stand tall. Open your arms. Open your heart. Say, "I accept." Say, "I receive." Feel the weight of the millions in your hands. Hear the rustle of the checks. Smell the freedom. It is yours. It has always been yours. You are just finally waking up to claim it. Before we step into the magnetic law of authority, I invite you to make a silent commitment. You have learned how to receive. Now you must learn how to rule. If this message is vibrating in your soul, if you feel the truth of your own wealth awakening, then take a moment to anchor this energy. Join our community of conscious creators by subscribing to the channel right now. By clicking that subscribe button, you are not just watching a video. You are signaling to the universe that you are ready to stand in your authority. You are signing your name in the book of the awakened. Do not let this moment pass. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and let us walk this path of mastery together. Now, let us discover why you must stop chasing and start attracting. There is a fundamental difference between chasing and attracting, and you must learn this distinction if you wish to be truly wealthy, not just in money but in spirit. Chasing is born from the ancient lie that the thing you want is outside of you, distant, separate, and fleeing from you. It is the belief that you are a hunter and your good is the prey. But in the spiritual kingdom, there is no distance. Chasing creates the very distance you are trying to bridge. When you chase, you broadcast the vibration of "I do not have." You cannot chase what you already possess. If you are holding a diamond in your hand, you do not run around the room looking for it. Therefore, the act of chasing is an admission of lack. It is a loud declaration to the universe that says, "I am empty, please fill me." But the universe does not fill the empty. It multiplies the full. This is the hard truth that you must swallow. To him that hath, it shall be given. The magnetic law of authority states that you do not get what you want, you get who you are. If you are a chaser, you will attract more things to chase. The horizon will always recede as you approach it. You will run on the treadmill of desire until you collapse. But there is another way. It is the way of the magnet. Attraction is born from the knowing that the thing you want is already aligned with you and is simply making its way into view. This is the essence of the magnetic law. Your energy does not chase. It pulls the wealth in by the certainty of your inner knowing. Imagine a magnet sitting on a table. It does not run after the iron filings. It does not beg the iron to come. It does not stress or worry or manipulate. It simply sits there. It rests in its own nature. It has a quality called magnetism. This quality is an invisible authority. It commands the space around it. And because of this authority, the iron filings have no choice but to move toward the magnet. They are compelled by a law that is greater than their own inertia. You must become the magnet. You must develop an inner density of conviction that is so strong that the world has no choice but to move toward you. This is true power. Power is not force. Force is moving against resistance. Power is the elimination of resistance through authority. When you embody the frequency of already having, you stop moving toward the wealth and the wealth begins moving toward you. Let us analyze the vibration of desperation because it is the antithesis of authority. Desperation is a repulsive force. Have you ever met a person who was desperate for a relationship? Their energy pushed you away. Have you ever met a salesperson who was desperate for a sale? Their energy made you want to keep your wallet closed. Why? Because desperation feels like theft. It feels like they are trying to take something from you to fill a hole in themselves. Money is the same. Money runs from desperate people. It is repelled by the vacuum of need. If you need money to feel worthy, you will never have it. You must find your worthiness in your own I amness first. Then money will flock to you because you are a safe place for it to dwell. Money wants to be with the master, not the slave. When you chase, you are the slave of the object. When you attract, you are the master of the field. The magnetic law works in the opposite direction of the world's teaching. The world says, go out and get it. The spirit says, stand still and draw it. The strength of your magnetic field is determined by the depth of your knowing. Doubt weakens the pull. Certainty strengthens it. Think of your certainty as the electrical current that powers the magnet. If the current is weak, the magnet drops the metal. If the current is strong, the magnet holds the metal against gravity. This is why fleeting bursts of positive thinking are not enough. They are like switching the magnet on and off rapidly. The metal jumps and falls, jumps and falls. The field must remain steady. You cannot hold the vibration of wealth in the morning, during your meditation, and then sink into worry by nightfall when you see the news. That is scattering the signal. A scattered signal produces a scattered reality. You see results and then you lose them. To be a true authority, you must have the stamina of conviction. You must be able to hold the note of wealth, even when the orchestra of the world is playing the song of poverty. The universe is not persuaded by desperation, it is moved by conviction. Conviction does not require effort. It simply is. It is the quiet, unshakable awareness that says, this is mine, this is inevitable. It is the attitude of the king. A king does not beg for his dinner. He sits at the head of the table knowing the feast is prepared. He does not wonder if the servants will bring the food. He assumes it. This assumption is his authority. You must crown yourself in your own imagination. You must put on the robes of spiritual dignity. Stop acting like a beggar at the gates of life asking for crumbs. Enter the palace. Sit on the throne. The throne is your own mind. When you sit on the throne of I have received, the universe becomes your court. It rushes to fulfill your decrees. But it cannot obey a king who thinks he is a peasant. It waits for you to identify yourself. Who do you say you are? That is the question the universe asks you every moment. You trust that what is yours cannot pass you by. This trust is the ultimate relaxation. When you chase, you are afraid that someone else will get your prize. You are afraid of competition. You are afraid of time running out. But when you are the authority, you know that what belongs to you is secured by spiritual law. No one can take your blessing because no one else is you. You are the only person who can fill your space in the cosmos. Your wealth has your name on it. Your opportunity fits only your key. When you know this, the jealousy disappears. The hurry disappears. You walk with the unhurried grace of someone who owns the place. Living under the magnetic law feels effortless because there is no sense of pursuit. You are not running toward your desire, you are living from it. You hold conversations as someone who is already wealthy. What does a wealthy person talk about? They talk about ideas. They talk about expansion. They talk about what they love. They do not talk about the price of gas. They do not complain about how hard it is to get by. Their inner and outer conversations are aligned with abundance. To be the magnet, you must watch your words. Your words are the polarity of your magnet. If you speak lack, you polarize yourself to attract lack. If you speak plenty, you polarize yourself to attract plenty. You make decisions as someone whose finances are secure. This is a subtle but powerful shift. When you look at a menu, do you choose what you want or what is cheapest? I am not telling you to be irresponsible, but I am telling you to practice the mental feeling of choice. Even if you buy the cheaper item, do it because you choose it, not because you are forced to. Maintain your dignity of choice. That dignity preserves your magnetism. You walk with the ease of one whose wealth is guaranteed. Look at the posture of the successful. They are not hunched. They are not looking down. They are open. They take up space. Their energy extends outward. The energy of the chaser is constricted and small. The energy of the attractor is expansive and radiant. You must radiate. You must shine. Like a lighthouse, the magnet does not hide. It stands tall. And just like a magnet, silently at work, you draw circumstances into alignment without visible effort. Opportunities may seem to appear out of nowhere, but in truth they are simply responding to the field you have established. You may receive offers you did not seek, introductions you did not request, and pathways you did not imagine. This is the magnetic pull in action. The rearrangement of the world to deliver what you have already claimed inwardly is the job of the deeper mind. Your conscious mind is not the magnet. Your conscious mind is the switch that turns on the magnet. The magnet itself is the subconscious. Once you impress the subconscious with the feeling of wealth, it begins to draw from the vast resources of the universal mind. It connects the dots. It finds the lost pieces of the puzzle. It brings the people who have the answers. And here is the key. The magnetic law works without you forcing it. You do not have to micromanage the delivery. You do not have to track the progress. The moment you try to control every step, you step back into chasing, and the field weakens. Control is a form of fear. Authority is a form of trust. We must speak of the silent command. Real authority does not scream. A dog that barks loudly is often afraid. The lion that sits quietly is the one to be respected. Your energy should be like the lion, quiet, settled, dangerous to the old reality but protective of the new. When you know you are wealthy, you don't need to shout it. You don't need to prove it to your neighbors. You don't need to flash it on social media. The need to show off is the need to chase approval. The magnet does not need approval. It has gravity. Be silent in your knowing. Be still and know that I am God. That stillness is the most magnetic force in the universe. In the silence, your vibration is pure. It is undiluted by the need for validation. Consider the dynamic of need versus desire. It is okay to desire money. Desire is the engine of creation. But need is the brake. Need says, I will die without this. Desire says, I choose to experience this. You must shift from needy to desirous. The magnet desires the iron, but it does not need the iron to be a magnet. It is a magnet regardless. You must be whole within yourself first. You must be wealthy in your identity first. Then the physical money is just the icing on the cake. It is not the cake itself. When you detach your survival instinct from the money, you become dangerous. You become powerful. You can play the game of business with a light heart. And people love to do business with those who are light-hearted. They run from those who are heavy with need. There is a concept called energetic sovereignty. This means you are the supreme ruler of your own energy field. You do not let the news dictate your vibration. You do not let your bank balance dictate your mood. You determine your frequency. If the world shows you chaos, you show the world peace. If the world shows you poverty, you show the world abundance. You are the thermostat, not the thermometer. The thermometer reacts to the temperature, the thermostat sets the temperature, the magnet sets the field. Be the thermostat. Be the magnet. When you walk into a room, change the atmosphere by your very presence. This is the authority of the I Am. Let us discuss the vacuum of attraction. A magnet creates a field that pulls things in. You can create a vacuum of attraction by emptying yourself of doubt. Doubt takes up space. Fear takes up space. When you are full of fear, there is no room for wealth to enter. You must empty out the old furniture of your mind. Throw out the beliefs that say money is the root of all evil. Throw out the beliefs that say I am not smart enough. Create a clean, open space in your consciousness. In that emptiness, you place the single pure tone of wealth. That tone will resonate and call its likeness to you. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you create a space of pure expectancy, the universe must rush to fill it with the corresponding reality. The magnetic law requires you to be polarized. You cannot be lukewarm. You cannot be kind of wealthy and kind of poor in your mind. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You must choose a pole. Choose the pole of abundance and stay there, even when the evidence is to the contrary. Especially when the evidence is to the contrary. That is the test of the magnet. Can you hold your charge when the heat is turned up? Heat destroys magnetism in physics, and the heat of life, the pressure, the stress tries to destroy your spiritual magnetism. You must keep your cool. You must stay cool to stay magnetic. Do not let the heat of the world demagnetize you. Retreat into the silence to recharge. Think of the people you are attracted to. Are they frantic? Are they begging? No. They are usually confident. They are self-contained. They seem to have a secret source of energy. You want to be around them. You want to give them opportunities. You want to help them. Why? Because their authority makes you feel safe. Be that person. Be the person who makes others feel safe because you are so secure in your own abundance. When you are secure, you become a benefactor. Even if you have nothing in your pocket, if you have the spirit of a benefactor, you will attract resources. Because the universe trusts you to distribute them. The magnet also knows when to repel. A magnet has a north pole and a south pole. It attracts one and repels the other. You must learn to repel that which does not serve you. You must repel the poverty conversations. You must repel the victim mentality. You must set boundaries. Authority is not just about saying yes to money, it is about saying no to the things that waste your energy. Say no to the cheap. Say no to the undignified. Say no to the thoughts that make you feel small. By repelling the lower, you make space for the higher. You clarify your field. A clear field is a strong field. This law of authority applies to waiting. When a magnet is waiting for the metal, it is not anxious. It is active in its stillness. It is constantly emitting the field. When you are waiting for your check to arrive, do not collapse into passivity. Stand in your active stillness. Keep the signal broadcasting. I am here. I am ready. I am wealthy. Do not check the mail with fear. Check it with expectancy. Do not look at your phone with dread. Look at it with curiosity. What good news is coming today? This attitude keeps the magnet turned on. If you turn it off by doubting, you have to start the whole process over again. Keep the current running. Ultimately, the magnetic law of authority is about identity. You cannot fake magnetism. It must come from the core of who you are. You must do the work to change your self-concept. You must stop identifying as the one who wants and start identifying as the one who has. The one who wants is a chaser. The one who has is a magnet. Shift your identity and you shift your physics. You change the gravitational pull of your world. Objects, money, people, events, they all have to obey the new gravity you have generated. You are the planet. They are the moons. Do not chase the moons. Let them orbit you. So today, stop running. Stop pushing. Stop fighting. Stand still. Plant your feet firmly on the rock of your own I am. Feel the roots of your authority go down deep into the center of the earth. Feel your crown reach up to the heavens. You are the bridge between the unmanifest and the manifest. You are the channel. Open your hands, open your heart, radiate the signal. I am the wealth of the world. Hold that frequency, and watch with amusement and delight as the world scrambles to pile its treasures at your feet. Not because you fought for them, but because you are the king and they are your tribute. This is the law. It cannot be broken. Be the magnet. When your inner state is fixed in the vibration of wealth, something remarkable and paradoxical happens in the structure of your reality. The money begins to find you in the most direct and surprising ways. This phenomenon contradicts everything you have been taught about success. The world has conditioned you to believe that the magnitude of your result must match the magnitude of your suffering. You have been told that to get the millions you must bleed, you must sacrifice your sleep, you must destroy your peace, and you must hustle until you collapse. But this is the logic of the slave, not the logic of the creator. I am here to tell you that struggle is not a requirement for manifestation. It is a symptom of misalignment. Struggle is the friction caused by trying to move physically toward a goal that you have not yet accepted energetically. It is the exhaustion of trying to force a square peg into a round hole. But when you sign the check in the unseen, when you receive before arrival, you align the peg with the hole. The friction disappears. You enter the phase we call the effortless unfolding. In this phase, you are no longer pushing against life, scrambling for opportunities, or exhausting yourself in endless pursuit. The wealth takes the shortest route to you, not through your effort, but through your alignment. Effortless arrival does not mean the absence of action. This is where the lazy and the confused lose their way. They think effortless means inertia. They think it means sitting on the couch waiting for a bag of gold to drop through the ceiling. That is not flow, that is stagnation. Effortless arrival means the absence of strain. It means the absence of anxiety. The actions you take under this state are inspired, timely, and smooth. They do not feel like a desperate climb up a jagged mountain. They feel like a glide down a river. You are moved into position without resistance. Think of the difference between rowing a boat upstream against a raging current and using a rudder to steer a boat that is being carried downstream by the current. The person rowing upstream is working harder. He is sweating. He is groaning. But he's moving slower. The person steering downstream is barely moving his hands, but he's moving faster than the wind. Why? Because he has the power of the river behind him. When you align your vibration with wealth, you have the power of the universe behind you. You are the one with the rudder. You still steer. You still make calls. You still show up. But the heavy lifting is being done by the current of life. This unfolding happens because your inner state has already decided the outcome. Once the state is set, reality has no choice but to comply. We must understand the mechanics of this compliance. The universe operates on the principle of the path of least resistance. Electricity flows through the path of least resistance. Water flows through the path of least resistance. And manifestation flows through the path of least resistance. When you are full of doubt and fear, you create resistance. You are like a rock in the stream, blocking the flow. The water has to go around you. It takes longer. It is turbulent. But when you are full of certainty, when you have the signature of authority, you become the channel. The resistance drops to zero. And when resistance is zero, infinite power flows through instantly. This is why miracles happen. A miracle is simply the result of zero resistance, allowing the natural law to operate without interference. Your wealth is trying to get to you. It is gravity. It wants to fall into your lap. You are holding it up with your hand of worry. Drop your hand. Let the gravity of grace do its work. Outer conditions will bend themselves into the shape of your inner conviction. The meetings, ideas, and events that bring the millions into view will come as if choreographed by a master director. You could not have planned them in such perfect sequence with your limited conscious mind, yet they unfold without flaw. In this state, delays no longer intimidate you. When you are in the hustle mentality, a delay is a crisis. It means you are losing time. It means you are failing. But when you are in the effortless unfolding, a delay is seen for what it truly is. It is a necessary pause for the scenery to change. You understand that what appears to be time passing is simply the unfolding of the shortest possible route for delivery. Sometimes the shortest route is not a straight line. Sometimes you have to go left to get right. Sometimes you have to lose a deal to get the better deal. The universe sees the map from above. You see it from the ground. Trust the view from above. Sometimes that route may bypass what your mind thought was necessary. This is the bridge of incidents that we speak of. You might have a script in your head that says, I will get rich by getting a promotion at my current job. That is your logical plan. But the universe might see that your current job is a dead end. So the effortless unfolding might look like you getting fired. To the unawakened eye, this is a disaster. To the awakened eye, this is the universe kicking you out of the nest, so you can fly to the millions that are waiting in your own business. If you resist the firing, if you fight for the old job, you are fighting your own wealth. You are rowing upstream. But if you trust the unfolding, if you say, thank you for this release, you flow immediately into the next opportunity. Opportunities may appear in unexpected industries through people you have never met or from channels you did not know existed. The delivery is not always logical to the human mind, but it is always efficient to the divine mind. Effortless arrival is the direct opposite of hustle culture. Hustle comes from the belief that without constant effort, you will miss your chance. It is rooted in scarcity. It says, there is not enough to go around, so I must grab mine before someone else gets it. This is the vibration of a thief, not a creator. Effortless arrival comes from knowing you cannot miss what is already yours. How can you miss an appointment that you scheduled with yourself in eternity? You do not compete for it, you allow it. Competition is for those who do not know who they are. When you know you are the operant power, you know there is no competition. There is only creation. You do not chase it, you receive it. The belief in its inevitability creates a pathway so smooth that the manifestation feels like it just happened. Think of a train on a track. This is the perfect analogy for the effortless unfolding. Once the destination is set, the train does not wander off into the woods to look for a shortcut. It does not second-guess the rails. It does not stop to ask for directions. It follows the steel rails that have been laid down for it. Your inner state is the track. Your defined assumption is the rail, and the millions are already on board the train. The engine is the power of God. Your only job is to keep the switches aligned. Do not derail your own train with doubt. The more you hold the state steady, the more direct the journey becomes. If you change your inner state midway through doubt or fear, you switch tracks, sending the delivery elsewhere. You send the train to the station of almost made it, or the station of not yet. But when you remain fixed, the wealth arrives as planned at the station of it is done. The beauty of effortless arrival is that it dissolves the need to make things happen. This phrase, make it happen, is the mantra of the ego. The ego loves to take credit. It wants to say, I built this with my bare hands. But the spirit says, I allowed this with my open heart. You realize you are not the sole builder of your success. You are the receiver of what your inner state has already constructed. The construction happens in the fourth dimension, the dimension of imagination. The delivery happens in the third dimension, the dimension of matter. You do not build a house in the third dimension, you assemble it. The pieces are delivered. Your task is simply to keep your vibration aligned until the visible catches up with the invisible. When you stop trying to play God and start letting God play through you, the exhaustion leaves your body. You feel a surge of energy because you are no longer leaking power through friction. And when the wealth comes, it does not feel like a rescue. It does not feel like a stroke of random luck that saved you at the last minute. It feels natural. It feels inevitable. It feels like gravity. Gravity is not lucky. Gravity is a law. It works every time. Your wealth is a law. It works every time you align with it. The circumstances may surprise your logical mind, but they will not surprise your deeper knowing. You will recognize them instantly, not as strangers, but as the physical form of what you have been living in your imagination. The arrival of your millions will not be marked by exhaustion as if you have just crossed a grueling finish line. It will be marked by ease, like watching a long-awaited ship glide into harbor. You will stand on the shore, calm and certain, because you knew this day would come. You saw the ship on the horizon long before anyone else did. We must address the concept of inspired action versus forced action. How do you know the difference? The body knows. Forced action feels heavy in the gut. It comes with a feeling of I have to or I should. It is driven by the fear of consequences. Inspired action feels light in the chest. It comes with a feeling of I want to or I get to. It is driven by the joy of expression. When you are in the effortless unfolding, you will be incredibly active, but you will not be tired. You will write the book in a weekend. You will build the website in a night. You will make 50 calls in an hour. But it will feel like play. You are surfing the wave of energy that you summoned. You are not generating the wave, you are riding it. This is the state of flow that artists and athletes speak of. It is the state where the doer disappears and only the doing remains. This is the state where millions are made. The effortless unfolding also involves a rearrangement of your relationships. As you change your frequency, your environment must change to match you. This often means that people who are committed to struggle and poverty will naturally drift out of your life. Do not cling to them. Do not try to convert them. They are on a different train. Let them go with love. As they leave, space is created for new people to enter. People who are aligned with wealth. People who are generous. People who have keys to the doors you want to open. This changing of the guard is part of the effortless unfolding. It is not personal. It is vibrational. You are being moved into a new neighborhood of consciousness, and you need new neighbors. Welcome them. There is a profound efficiency to this process. The universe hates waste. It takes the path that uses the least amount of energy. When you try to force things, you are wasting energy. You are being inefficient. When you trust the unfolding, you are being efficient. You are conserving your energy for the enjoyment of the wealth rather than the acquisition of it. Think of how nature grows a forest. It does not make a sound. There is no construction noise. There is no stress. Yet billions of trees grow. Rivers form. Mountains rise. It is all done in silence and power. Your wealth should grow like a forest. Silently, powerfully, inevitably. You are part of nature. You are not separate from it. The same power that grows the oak tree from the acorn grows the empire from the idea. Trust that power. We must also speak of the quantum leap. In the linear world, progress is slow and incremental. You save $1 a day, you get a 2% raise. That is the slow lane. In the effortless unfolding, you are in the quantum lane. Progress can be exponential. You can go from 0 to millions in a short time if your capacity to receive is great enough. The universe does not need time, it needs alignment. If you can fully align with the state of millions today, the millions can manifest tomorrow. The only thing that takes time is your resistance. The only thing that takes time is you convincing yourself that it is possible. Once you are convinced, the universe is ready. The quantum leap happens when you stop walking up the stairs and take the elevator. The elevator is your imagination. Get in, push the button for the penthouse, and enjoy the ride. This unfolding requires you to be comfortable with the unknown. You cannot see around the corner. The bridge of incidents is often shrouded in mist. You can only see the next step. Forced action demands to see the whole map. Inspired action is content with the flashlight that illuminates just enough for the next step. You must trust that the ground will be there when you put your foot down. This walking by faith is what activates the magic. If you demand to see the whole path before you take a step, you will never move. The path is created by your walking. The resources are created by your need for them. The money appears when you have a place to put it. Let us look at the paradox of detachment. To have the effortless unfolding, you must be obsessed with the vision but detached from the outcome. This sounds contradictory, but it is not. You are obsessed with the what, the feeling of the end. You are detached from the how and the when. You do not care if it comes today or next week because you already have it inside. This detachment removes the anxiety that blocks the flow. If you are checking your phone every minute, you are attached. If you are happy regardless of the phone, you are detached. And ironically, the phone rings the moment you stop looking at it. This is the cosmic joke. You get what you want when you no longer desperately need it, because your lack of need signals that you already have it. The effortless unfolding is also a test of your self-concept. You must see yourself as the kind of person for whom things come easily. If your self-concept is, I have to work hard for everything I get, then the universe will give you hard work, If your self-concept is, I am the favorite child of the universe and things always work out for me, then the universe will prove you right. You must change your story about how life works. Rewrite the rule book. Declare that for you struggle is optional and you choose to opt out. Declare that your life is a charmed life. The world will treat you exactly the way you treat yourself. Consider the dynamic of softness. In a rigid world, we are taught to be hard, to have a thick skin, to be tough. But hardness is brittle. Hardness breaks, softness survives. Water is soft, but it wears away the rock. In the effortless unfolding, you must remain soft. You must remain open. If you are rigid, you cannot navigate the twists and turns of the river. You will crash against the banks. If you are soft, you flow around obstacles. You adapt. You absorb the shocks. Be like water, fluid, powerful, unstoppable. Let the wealth flow into you like water filling a cup. Do not have a lid on your cup. There is a sound to the effortless unfolding. It is the sound of silence. It is the absence of mental noise. The noise of worry, the noise of what if, the noise of I'm not good enough. When that noise stops, you hear the guidance. You hear the small, still voice that says, call this person, buy this stock, go to this meeting. That voice is the GPS of your wealth. You cannot hear it if you are screaming in panic. You must cultivate the silence. The silence is the womb of the millions. Ultimately, the effortless unfolding is an act of allowing. You are allowing the greatness that is already within you to escape. You are not adding anything to yourself. You are releasing the splendor that was trapped behind the wall of your disbelief. You are taking the brakes off. The car is already running. The engine is powerful. You have just been standing on the brake pedal. Take your foot off. Let the car move. It wants to move. Life wants to expand. Wealth wants to circulate. You are the conduit. Be an open conduit. So, as you walk through this chapter of your life, look for the path of ease. If a door is locked, do not kick it down. Look for the window that is open. If a person says no, do not argue. Look for the person who says yes. There is always a path of flow. There is always a way that feels like relief. Follow the relief. Follow the joy. Follow the peace. They are the breadcrumbs leading you to the feast. The feast is prepared. The table is set. The millions are waiting. Walk in, sit down, and eat. It is your effortless right. We arrive now at the bedrock of your confidence. We arrive at the truth that anchors the entire process of creation. Once the signature is in place, nothing can revoke it, except you. This is the most comforting and terrifying truth you will ever learn. It is comforting because it means that no external force, no government, no economy, no enemy, and no circumstance has the power to cancel your order. It is terrifying because it places the total responsibility for the outcome squarely in your hands. There is no one to blame. There is no one to fight. There is only you and your signature. When you have truly impressed the subconscious mind with the feeling of wealth, the transaction is recorded in the book of life. The universe does not have a delete button that can be pressed by a stranger. You are the only one with the access code to your own reality. If you do not cancel it, it remains valid and the delivery remains inevitable. This concept of irrevocability is crucial because most people live in fear that their good can be taken away. They think their wealth depends on the market or their job, but the awakened soul knows that wealth depends on the signature. If the signature is bold and fresh, the wealth must flow, even if the market crashes, even if the job is lost. The channel may change, but the source remains the same. The source is your irrevocable decision. Let us examine the nature of this spiritual contract. When you sign a contract in the physical world, it is binding by law. If you break it, there are consequences. In the spiritual world, the law is even more absolute. The law of identical harvest states that you reap exactly what you sow. If you sow the signature of wealth, you cannot reap the harvest of poverty unless you dig up the seed. Digging up the seed is the only way to revoke the signature. How do you dig up the seed? You do it by doubting. You do it by reacting to the senses. You do it by speaking words of lack. Every time you say, I can't afford it, you are taking an eraser to your signature. Every time you feel jealous of another, you are scribbling over your name. But here is the good news. The universe is slow to anger and abounding in mercy. It gives you a buffer time. A momentary doubt does not erase a lifetime of faith. But chronic doubt, chronic fear, chronic negativity will eventually fade the ink. Your job is to keep the ink fresh. You do this by returning again and again to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. As long as you keep returning, the signature stands. No delay, no apparent setback, no temporary lack has the power to erase it unless you choose to overwrite it. We must talk about the appearance of reversal. Sometimes right after you sign the check for millions, things seem to get worse. You might get an unexpected bill. You might lose a client. The old man, the unawakened self, panics. He says, "It's not working." The check bounced. But the new man, the awakened self, knows better. He knows that this is often the clearing of the deck. The universe is moving the old furniture out to make room for the new. If you lose a client, it is because that client was too small for your new consciousness. If you get a bill, it is a test of your new authority. Can you look at the bill and still feel wealthy? If you can, your signature just got stronger. The fire does not burn the gold, it refines it. These challenges are not revocations, they are confirmations. They are signs that the tectonic plates of your reality are shifting to accommodate your new mass. Stand your ground. Do not tear up the check just because it is raining. The rain will pass, but the check remains. When people talk about acting as if, they often misunderstand. They think it means pretending or playing a role like an actor on a stage who takes off the mask when the curtain falls. But the true meaning is to occupy the feeling so fully that it ceases to be an act. It becomes your natural state. That is the real inner signature. A signature is unique to you. It represents your identity. When you sign a document, you are saying, "This is who I am, and I stand by this." To sign for wealth, you must identify as wealth. You cannot identify as a poor person trying to get rich. You must identify as a rich person who is currently experiencing a temporary illusion of lack. Do you see the difference? The poor person trying to get rich is signing a check for trying. The universe gives him more trying. The rich person experiencing an illusion is signing a check for rich. The universe gives him riches. You must merge with the identity. You must become the thing you desire. When the feeling of wealth becomes as natural to you as your own breathing, the signature is indelible. It is etched in stone. So as you go about your day, stop measuring your progress by what you see. This is the trap of the senses. The senses are reporters of the past. If you look at the mirror to see if you are rich, you are looking at yesterday. Ask yourself instead, is my signature still on the check? This is an internal audit. Close your eyes. Check your feeling. Do you feel expansive? Do you feel secure? Do you feel grateful? If the answer is yes, then the signature is valid. Am I still carrying the feeling of already having it? If you are, then the external delay is irrelevant. Am I still walking as the one who has received? If you are, then the delivery is guaranteed. The universe cannot lie. It is a mathematical system. If the equation is set on the inside, the result must appear on the outside. It is not a gamble, it is a guarantee. The universe does not have the option to deny a signature that matches the account. This is a profound statement. We often think of the universe as a capricious God who decides to bless some and curse others based on a whim. But the universe is not a person, it is a principle. It is a law. Electricity does not decide to light up the lamp of a saint and leave the lamp of a sinner in the dark. If the circuit is connected, the light comes on. The universe is the same. It does not judge your worthiness based on your past mistakes. It judges your state based on your current vibration. It does not negotiate with doubt, nor does it reward desperation. It only fulfills what has been authentically claimed. Authenticity is key. You cannot fake the signature. You cannot fool the law. You can fool your neighbors, you can fool your family, but you cannot fool the subconscious mind. It knows what you truly feel. This is why the inner work is so important. You must bring your true feelings into alignment with your desire. When you do, the transaction is closed. Once your inner signature is fixed, the transaction is closed. Closed means there is nothing left to do. The millions are not in question, they are in transit. Think of ordering something from a catalog. Once you place the order and pay for it, you don't keep ordering it. You don't call the company every 5 minutes to see if they like you. You know it's done. You go on with your life. You might even forget about it for a few days, and then it arrives. This is the state of, it is finished. This state is not one of laziness, but of confidence. You are not striving because you have won. You are not fighting because the battle is over. You are simply occupying the time until the arrival. This occupation should be joyful. It should be filled with the activities of a person who has already succeeded. Prepare your vessel, expand your capacity, get ready to handle the blessing. And when they arrive, it will feel less like a surprise and more like a delivery you've been expecting. Because the truth is, you signed for it long ago. There is a sense of déjà vu that accompanies true manifestation. When the money comes, you will have a strange feeling that you have been here before. And you were here in your imagination. You walked these halls in your mind. You spent these dollars in your spirit. The physical experience is just the echo of the spiritual shout. Reality is not the cause of your inner state, it is the reflection of it. This reversal of causality is the mark of the master. The slave lets the world dictate his mood. The master lets his mood dictate the world. If you want to know if your signature is still valid, check your mood. Are you reacting or are you creating? Outer events are nothing more than a mirror faithfully reproducing the vibration you carry within. If the mirror shows a smudge, do not try to wipe the mirror. Wipe your face. If the world shows a lack of funds, do not try to manipulate the world. Adjust your signature. The world is neutral. It has no opinion of you. It only reflects you. This is the ultimate freedom. It means you are never a victim. You are always the operator. Even when things go wrong, you are the operator. You can say, I created this mess with my doubt, and I can uncreate it with my faith. This takes the fear out of life. You stop being afraid of conditions and start being attentive to consciousness. When your inner frequency is tuned to wealth, the external world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match. This is not philosophy, it is law. There are no exceptions. The law of gravity does not have exceptions. It works for the feather and the rock. The law of assumption does not have exceptions. It works for the small desire and the huge desire. The only reason it seems to fail is because the signature was revoked by the user. You signed it on Monday and revoked it on Tuesday, then you signed it again on Wednesday and revoked it on Thursday. You are sending mixed signals to the courier. The courier is running back and forth confused. Stop the madness. Sign it, seal it, and stand by it. Be stubborn in your faith. Be obstinate in your assumption. Refuse to accept any evidence to the contrary. Let us discuss the seal of silence. In ancient times, a king would seal his decree with wax and a signet ring. Once sealed, no one could open it but the recipient. Your signature needs a seal. That seal is silence. Do not talk about your manifestation to people who do not understand the law. They will breathe the cold air of doubt on your hot wax and crack the seal. They will ask, how are you going to do that? That's impossible. And if you are not strong, their doubt will become your doubt. Keep your treasure hidden. Keep your business between you and the universe. The signature is safer in the vault of your heart than on the lips of the crowd. Discuss it only with those who are walking the same path. Or better yet, discuss it only with your higher self. The irrevocability of the signature also implies a point of no return. There comes a moment in your imaginal act where you cross a line. You feel a click. You know it is done. You can't go back to the old way of thinking even if you wanted to. The old poverty consciousness feels like a suit that no longer fits. It's too tight. It's uncomfortable. You have outgrown it. Even before the money comes, you feel rich. You feel generous. You can't help it. This is the surest sign that the signature has taken hold. You have changed. And because you have changed, your world must change. You are the pivot point. The world revolves around you. We must also address the integrity of the signature. You cannot sign a check for wealth if you hate wealthy people. That is a forgery. You cannot sign a check for abundance if you believe money is evil. That is a contradiction. Your signature must be integrated with your belief system. You must clean up your beliefs about money. You must come to see money as a divine energy, a tool for good, a crystallized freedom. When you love money, in the spiritual sense, as a means to express love and beauty, your signature becomes powerful. It flows without hesitation. But if you have hidden guilt, your hand will shake and the signature will be illegible. Clear your conscience. Accept that it is God's will for you to prosper. The signature is timeless. Once you sign it in the now, it is valid forever. It does not expire. You do not need to renew it every year. However, you do need to maintain the state. Think of it like a subscription. You signed up for the wealth subscription. As long as you pay the monthly fee of faith and feeling the subscription keeps delivering, if you stop paying the fee, if you stop feeling wealthy, the subscription pauses. It is not cancelled permanently, but the delivery stops until you resume payment. Resume the payment of gratitude. Resume the payment of living in the end. The delivery will resume immediately. There is a power in the word revoked. To revoke means to call back. Only the voice that called it forth can call it back. The voice of your neighbor cannot revoke your blessing. The voice of the news anchor cannot revoke your blessing. Only your inner voice has that authority. This should make you feel invincible. You are the only person who can stop you, and you are the only person who can start you. If you have revoked your signature in the past, forgive yourself. That was then, this is now. Pick up the pen again. The ink never runs out. The checkbook is never empty. Sign a new check today. Make it bigger. Make it bolder. The universe is waiting for your command. Consider the ink as your lifeblood. You are putting your life into this desire. That is why it must manifest. It has your DNA in it. It is your spiritual child. A mother does not revoke her child. She nurtures it. She protects it. Treat your desire with that same maternal instinct. Defend it against the bullies of doubt. Feed it with the milk of faith. Watch it grow. It is part of you. It cannot be separated from you. The money you desire is already woven into your soul's purpose. It is not something you are getting, it is something you are becoming. Finally, let us speak of the peace that comes with an irrevocable signature. When you know it cannot be taken away, you stop fighting. You lay down your weapons. You stop competing. You stop looking over your shoulder. You enter the Sabbath rest. You know that what is yours will find you even if you are sleeping, even if you are on vacation, even if you make a mistake. The signature overrides the mistake. This peace is the magnetic field that attracts the millions. The millions are looking for peace. They are looking for a master who is not afraid of losing them. Be that master. So look at the check in your mind's eye one last time. See the amount millions, see the payee your name, see the signature your energy. It is done, it is dry, it is recorded. Close the checkbook, put it in your pocket, walk out into the sunlight. Smile at the world. The world is now working for you. The delivery trucks are loading, the accounts are transferring, the universe is balancing the books, and you are the beneficiary. Nothing can stop it. Nothing can change it. Nothing can revoke it. It is finished. We have journeyed together through the mechanics of the unseen transaction, and now we arrive at the destination. This is not the end of the road, but the beginning of a new level of existence. We call this the Great Recognition. When the manifestation finally breaks through the veil of the invisible and stands before you in hard physical facts, it will not be a moment of hysterical surprise. It will not be a moment where you look at the sky and wonder how this miracle happened. It will be a moment of quiet, profound recognition. You will look at the money in the bank, you will look at the new home, you will look at the restored relationship, and you will simply nod your head. You will say to yourself, "Of course, I remember you." This is the ultimate test of whether you have truly lived in the end. If the arrival of your millions shocks you, it means you were not living in the end. You were living in the hope of the end. But if the arrival feels natural, if it feels like putting on a coat that has been hanging in your closet for weeks, then you know you have mastered the law. The great recognition is the realization that the physical world is merely the echo of the shout you gave in the silence of your soul. It is the realization that you met this reality long ago in your imagination, and now you are simply shaking hands with it in the flesh. The money didn't come because you chased it. It came because it was always looking for you. This shift in perspective is the crown jewel of your awakening. For years, you may have believed that wealth was a wild animal that you had to hunt down. You believed it was hiding from you. You believed you had to trick it or force it into your life. But now you see the truth. Wealth was never hiding. It was waiting. It was waiting for a signal. It was waiting for a location. You are the location. Your energetic signature provided the coordinates. When you finally stood still in your conviction, when you finally stopped the frantic motion of doubt, you became a fixed point in the universe. And because you were fixed, the wealth could finally find you. It is like a delivery driver who has been circling the block for years because you kept changing your address. Every time you doubted, you moved. Every time you feared, you moved. But the moment you signed the check and stood your ground, the address became clear. The delivery was made, and you finally stood still long enough for it to find you. You have seen it now. Wealth does not begin in your bank account. It begins in your energy. This is the great secret that the masses miss. They look at the scoreboard of life and think the score is the game. But the score is just the history of the game. The game is played on the field of energy. If you wait for the scoreboard to change before you play differently, you will lose. You must play like a champion while the score is still 0. That is how the score changes. You have learned that the check is signed in the unseen long before it is deposited in the seen. This knowledge gives you an invincible patience. When you know the check is signed, the delay of the deposit does not worry you. You know banking hours. You know there is a processing time. The physical world is a slow bank. It takes time to process the bullion of the spirit into the coin of the realm, but the processing is automatic. It cannot be stopped unless you withdraw the check, and you have vowed not to withdraw it. Your inner signature authorizes the transaction. We must return to this concept of authority one last time. Who authorized you to be wealthy? Did the government? Did your boss? Did your family? No. You authorized yourself. This is the most radical act a human being can perform. To self-authorize is to step into the role of the creator. It is to say, I allow this because I am. There is no higher authority to appeal to. You are the operant power. When you accept this, you stop looking for permission. You stop apologizing for your desires. You realize that your desire is the promise of God and your acceptance is the fulfillment of God. The transaction is between you and your higher self. The world is just the witness. The world has no vote. It only has a voice to echo your command. When you walk in this authority, the obstacles that seemed insurmountable simply melt away. They were shadows cast by your own lack of authority. When the sun of your authority rises, the shadows disappear. Your frequency commands the outer world to rearrange, and your willingness to receive before arrival sets the stage for the delivery. Let us speak about this rearrangement. It is often chaotic. When you demand a new life, the old life must be dismantled. Do not fear the dismantling. Do not fear the chaos. It is the sound of the universe moving furniture. If you lose a job, if a relationship ends, if a path closes, do not cry over the spilt milk of the past. Recognize it as the rearrangement. Say to yourself, this is the machinery of my success working. This is the space being cleared for my millions. The great recognition includes recognizing the means as well as the end. You recognize the challenges as part of the bridge. You recognize the losses as part of the gains. You trust the intelligence that is moving the pieces. You do not try to hold on to the old while reaching for the new. You let go with one hand to catch with the other. You no longer need to chase. The magnetic law is already working in your favor, pulling the millions toward you with unshakable precision. The end of chasing is the beginning of living. Think of how much energy you have wasted chasing. The anxiety, the sleepless nights, the constant checking of results, all of that energy is now available for living. You can use that energy to enjoy your life today. You can use it to love your family, to create art, to serve others. You are no longer a slave to the pursuit. You are the master of the presence. The magnetic pull is silent. It is invisible, but it is stronger than steel. It is pulling the exact sum of money you need. It is pulling the exact people you need. It is operating while you sleep. It is operating while you play. You can relax into this pull. You can lean back into the arms of the law. It will not let you fall. And when you hold your state steady, the arrival will be effortless, the path clear, and the timing perfect. Perfect timing is a concept the ego cannot understand. The ego wants it now. But the spirit knows the perfect moment. If the millions arrived yesterday, you might have been crushed by them. If they arrive tomorrow, it might be too late. They will arrive at the exact intersection of your readiness and the world's opportunity. This synchronization is the work of the deeper mind. You cannot calculate it, you can only trust it. Holding your state steady is your only responsibility. It is like holding a lantern in a storm. The wind will blow, the rain will fall, but you must shield the flame. That flame is your feeling of wealth. If you can keep it burning through the night, the dawn brings the reward. And the reward is always greater than the struggle. All you need to do is to breathe. This sounds too simple, but the breath is the connection between the invisible and the visible. The word spirit comes from the word for breath. When you breathe consciously, you are anchoring yourself in the now. You are calming the nervous system that wants to run into panic. You are telling your body, it is well. When you breathe with the feeling of wealth, you are oxygenating your cells with abundance. You are literally changing your biology to match your psychology. A wealthy person breathes differently than a poor person. A wealthy person breathes deep, slow breaths of freedom. A poor person breathes shallow, fast breaths of fear. Change your breath and you change your signature. Breathe in the reality of your desire. Breathe out the illusion of lack. Do this until your body believes it. The truth is this: you are not waiting for the millions. They are waiting for you to hold the vibration that allows them to arrive. This is the great reversal. You thought you were the one waiting. You sat by the window looking at the clock. But all along the millions were piling up at your door, knocking, waiting for you to unlock the deadbolt. The deadbolt was your doubt. The deadbolt was your feeling of unworthiness. The moment you unlock it, the door flies open. The accumulation of your good floods in. It has been accumulating for lifetimes. It is compound interest on your spiritual capital. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from a reservoir of infinite potential that has been dammed up by your own beliefs. Break the dam. Let the river flow. When you understand this, life changes forever. You move from striving to allowing, from hoping to knowing, from chasing to receiving. This is the evolution of the soul. You are graduating from the school of force to the school of power. Force is physical. Power is spiritual. Force wears you out. Power renews you. You are becoming a conduit for the creative energy of the universe. You are no longer just a person trying to survive. You are a conscious creator participating in the expansion of the cosmos. Your wealth is part of that expansion. Your abundance serves the whole. Do not feel guilty for it. Do not shrink from it. Embrace it as your duty. It is your duty to be rich in spirit and rich in form so that you can demonstrate the law to a sleeping world. And when the day comes, and it will, you will not be surprised. You will simply smile in quiet recognition, because deep down you will remember, I signed for this long ago with my energy. Let us talk about that smile. It is the smile of the Mona Lisa. It is the smile of the Buddha. It is the smile of someone who knows a secret. It is a smile of inner satisfaction. You are not laughing frantically. You are smiling peacefully. You are looking at the illusion of the world and seeing the truth behind it. You know that you pulled the strings in the unseen and the puppets moved in the scene. This gives you a feeling of immense safety. You realize that you can never truly be a victim again. Even if you lose everything, you know how to get it back. You have the formula. You have the signature. You have the power. The great recognition is also a recognition of your true self. You recognize that you are not the small, limited ego you thought you were. You are the I am. You are the God force clothed in human form. The wealth is just a mirror showing you your own magnitude. It is not the money that makes you great. It is the greatness within you that made the money. Do not worship the money. Worship the power that created it. The money is just the shadow. You are the substance. Never forget that. If you worship the shadow, you become a slave to it. If you identify with the substance, you remain the master. The great recognition is the moment you look in the mirror of wealth and see the face of God, which is your own face. As you move forward from this video into your daily life, carry this recognition with you. Walk into your job and recognize it as a temporary station. Walk into your home and recognize it as a seat of the palace to come. Look at your bills and recognize them as paid. Impose your imagination upon your reality. Do not let reality impose its limitations upon your imagination. You are the imposer. You are the stamper. Stamp every moment with the seal of abundance. Stamp every interaction with the seal of love. You are leaving your energetic fingerprints on everything you touch. Make sure those fingerprints are the fingerprints of a king or a queen. Remember the story of the prodigal son. When he returned home, the father did not ask questions. He did not demand an accounting. He put a robe on his shoulders and a ring on his finger and killed the fatted calf. The ring is the signet ring of authority. The robe is the garment of consciousness. The feast is the abundance of life. You are the prodigal son returning to your own power. You have wandered in the land of poverty long enough. You have eaten the husks of lack long enough. It is time to come home. The Father is your own imagination, and He is running to meet you. He is waiting to adorn you. He is waiting to celebrate you. All you have to do is turn toward home. Turn your attention to the wish fulfilled. That is the return. The great recognition is the end of the search. You stop looking for the magic potion. You stop looking for the guru. You stop looking for the secret strategy. You realize you are the strategy. You are the magic. You are the guru. Everything you need is contained within the energetic signature you emit. This simplifies life. It removes the noise. You don't need to read 1,000 books. You just need to master one feeling. The feeling of the wish fulfilled. Master that, and you master the world. It is a discipline of simplicity. It is a discipline of focus. It is the narrow gate that leads to life. Stand in that knowing. Walk in that power. And watch as the world bows to the signature of your soul. The world loves a person who knows where they are going. The world steps aside for the person who walks with purpose. When you have the signature of wealth, the world wants to give you money. It wants to give you discounts. It wants to give you upgrades. It feels your vibration, and it responds with favor. Favor is just the universe acknowledging your signature. Expect favor. Expect things to go your way. Not because you are arrogant, but because you are aligned. When you are aligned with the flow of the river carries you. Be carried. Be lifted. Be blessed. The check is signed. The ink is dry. There is nothing more to write. There is nothing more to beg for. The act of creation is finished. Now comes the act of enjoyment. Enjoy the unfolding. Watch the bridge of incidents appear with curiosity. I wonder how it will happen today. I wonder who I will meet. Live in a state of wonder, not worry. Wonder opens the mind. Worry closes it. Be a child of wonder. Watch the magic show that you have scripted. Applaud the actors. Enjoy the scenery. It is all for you. Now let the delivery come. If you are ready to stand in this truth, if you are ready to be the magnet for your millions, make your declaration today. This declaration is not just words. It is a vow. A vow to never go back to the old way of thinking. A vow to never badmouth yourself again. A vow to honor your desire as a holy thing. Keep this vow, and the universe will keep its promise. The covenant is two-way. You provide the faith, the universe provides the fact. You provide the feeling, the universe provides the form. It is a perfect partnership. Your wealth is not coming, it is here. It is in the room with you right now. It is in the air you breathe. It is in the potential of this very moment. Can you feel it? Can you sense the density of it? It is pressing against your senses, trying to break through. Let it in. Open the gate. Say yes. Say welcome. Say I am home. The journey is over. The struggle is done. The victory is won. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for trusting your own soul enough to listen to this message. Thank you for being the kind of person who dares to ask for more. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Shine your light. Spend your millions with love. Build a world that reflects the glory of the human imagination. You are the energetic signature of God signing his name on the world. Make it a beautiful signature. Make it a signature of hope. Make it a signature of freedom. It is finished, and so it is. The recognition is complete. You know who you are. You know what you have. You know where you are going. Now go and live like the royalty you are. The check is signed. The ink is dry. The transaction is complete. Now, it is your turn to let the delivery come. If you are ready to stand in this truth, if you are ready to be the magnet for your millions, make your declaration today. Subscribe to the channel to keep your signature fresh. Share this message with someone who needs to stop chasing, and leave a comment below affirming, the check is signed. Your wealth is not coming. It is here. Thank you for walking this path with me. It is finished. And so it is.